How's it going, everybody? It's Matt again. Today we're going to take a look at another one of NEWAGE's Dinobots. This is number 4 in their Dinobot series. Of course, it came out a little while ago, but because they decided to, well, not really decided to, they alluded to it for quite a while and nobody really took them seriously. They are actually making a combiner, like a 6th member to make Volcanicus. So I decided to pick all these guys up and take a look at them. So yeah, so this is going to be NEWAGE H63 GORGO. This is going to be the Legend Scale Slag, or I forget what the PC version of his name is. So I've always known him as Slag, so he is Slag. Slag is my favorite Dinobot, so I always like picking up a new Slag. But here it is on the front. Here it is from the top, and from the side, and from the rear. So, toss the box aside. He's going to come with a set of instructions. It's a bigger instruction pamphlet, but it is kind of like their standard type of CAD drawing typing thing. So that's decent. He's going to come with a few accessories. He's going to come with the same type of open palm hands as like what Sludge did. Has the little hinge in the wrist. He's going to come with a completely white, unpainted gun, which is kind of interesting, but it is what it is. It's a nice little gun. And he's going to come with this really cool kind of electrical beam effect for his horns, which is pretty sweet. I like the way that this looks. Unfortunately, he's not going to come with a sword or a flame effect, which is kind of, as to be expected, because the other ones didn't really, except for Grimlock, so that's kind of a bummer, but it's fine. But here he is in his Triceratops mode, and I think this is a really damn good looking Triceratops mode. I actually like this quite a lot more than even like Magic Squares. It's very, very good looking. Really like the kind of metallic or flecked finish type of yellow. Really like pretty much all painted all around. So pretty good looking Triceratops. He doesn't have the same gimmick as what the others have, I don't believe, to where you can swap the eyes to red. So I think this is the first one, except for Swoop didn't have it either. But you can't change his eyes, which is interesting. But yeah, he's a decent looking little Triceratops. You can still open his mouth, and there's a little tab that you can flip up on the inside of his lower jaw. And then you can put Grimlock's fire effect in his mouth to make it look like he's spitting fire, but it looks kind of goofy. It looks like it's coming from his tongue, but you can do it. You can also, of course, with his lightning effect thing, you can, with these two little holes here and then this hole here, you can put them kind of over everything. I gotta remember how to do it. Is it like, I think it's like this. Yeah, you kind of put it like this, and then you can bend it like this, and then he has kind of that lightning effect, which is pretty darn cool. Even if it does look funny, it is cool. But as far as articulation goes, of course, you can open and close his mouth. And there is quite a bit of motion in the head. He has a very expressive head and neck, because it rotates at this kind of peg thing back here, so you can move his head back and forth and up and down, and you have a lot of expression with the head on this thing, which is really, really nice. His front arms can extend out all the way, and they can extend down a little bit on this joint. You can rotate them all the way around. It rotates here at the shoulder and has a double jointed elbow, and I think that's about it. The toe doesn't do anything. So expressive front arms. Their rear legs you can lift out about that far, rotate them pretty much all the way around, and you can angle the knee forwards and back if you so desire. And it has the same kind of tail gimmick as Sludge and Grimlock had, so you can kind of wag it back and forth. So pretty nice. I think this is probably the best dino that we've gotten so far out of the other three, or this is the 4th one. So I think it looks really, really nice. But let's go ahead and transform him. So firstly, what we're going to want to do is lift the legs up like this. Going to kind of bend the toe and conceal it into the actual leg. And then the back panel here on the thighs are going to lift up. You're going to rotate the entire dino foot in until it kind of hugs this wall here, and then close it back up. And they're just going to kind of rotate them and then angle them up like in this orientation, like this. And then this whole belly panel, you're going to want to lift up off of these few tabs that are around it. Might need to get a spudger in there to get it undone. But lift this up, kind of get it out of the way, and then you're going to collapse these over each other, like so. And then we're going to open up the two wing sections here off these two tabs and lift them up on these hinges here. It'll kind of come undone like this. Then these two panels here, you're going to flip in underneath the little wings. Then the toe sections here, you're going to want to rotate them outwards like this. They only rotate a certain way. You're going to rotate them outwards like this. And then the tail section is going to come unpegged from here and kind of come down. And then this whole section here is going to unpeg from these two pegs, come down like this. And then all of this is going to split at the tail. And they're going to angle out on these hinges. The tip of the tail on the one side is going to fold inwards like this. And then the legs are going to flip out on the robot mode knees like so, kind of extending like this. And then we're going to split them. On this little hinge right here, you're going to flip this panel down to get this out of the way and to kind of get these out of the way too. And then this part of the leg with the dinosaur mode leg is going to flip around to the other side like this. And then you're going to angle it down like that to kind of get it out of the way. And then this panel, that little hole is going to fit over that peg, locking it together. And then you're going to take the tail here and using this double hinge, kind of get it out of the way here and collapse it in like this into the back of the leg. And you're going to lift it up and that everything will kind of fold in this double hinge here and the little spikes will sit along these grooves like this and kind of all pegged together. And then at this point, you're just going to angle the toe back how it was, or actually, no, not yet. You don't want to do that yet. This front part, or the front part or top section here of the dinosaur mode back, you're going to flip up. This section is going to kind of slide out and then slide down on this little pin. And you're going to flip it all the way up and it's going to peg into the bottom section here. Where is it going to peg? No, it just kind of sits loosely. And then this whole section is going to rotate around kind of on this double hinge and then flip to the underside of the foot like this. And then now you flip the toe around. And there's one of the legs. Kind of intricate, but nice how it was done. Same thing on the other leg. Flip that out of the way, get that out of the way, flip this around, rotate this down like so. That will come up and peg together there. This will come up like this. Rotate the tail around so it's flush, and then angle it and peg it all together onto the back of the leg. And then this part will flip down. This will open, push in, flip it down here, angle it at the first hinge, and then angle it underneath the foot, and then turn the toe. And then there are the legs. And now we're going to kind of take the dinosaur mode head. It's attached to this whole big armature back here. You're just going to kind of angle it out of the way. And then the whole kind of chest section here in the middle is just going to kind of flip up, and you want to kind of pull it up farther than what you think you have to so that you can pull this panel out and then flip it back. It'll kind of rest on that gray part. And then this section here, you're going to kind of recess it into the torso, and the gray section here will come up and kind of press against the back like this. And then the wings are going to kind of open up. This section is going to slide down and clip into place. And then this is going to open, rotate the dinosaur mode like the bottom part of the jaw, and then put it back up. And then you're just gonna kind of lift it all up into place, and it's gonna slide into that little groove right there, like this. And then it will kind of lock onto these two little pins here, ideally. Oh, you need to slide this part. I believe you have to push the jaw up, but it's really tight. You have to push it in like this, and then the whole top of the dinosaur mode head will open, and then you can put the horns to the side. And now you have the clearance to kind of peg it together. And you want to angle these fin parts down so they kind of hold the wings together, and it just kind of clips in like this. And this kind of just rests on along the back. And then the arms, you're going to take this section here, put this down, lift this portion up here, and then this panel will come down. And then you want to just kind of rotate this and collapse it along the back of the forearm. And then you might need a tool to do so, but you just kind of pull the fist out and put this peg back, or that panel back down, to kind of reveal the hand. I realize I might have been blocking that on camera, but pull this down along the back, pull the panel up, pull that little panel out, push down on this to open up the fist, and put that panel back. And there he is. There is Slag in his robot mode. And I think that he looks really good. I like the green here. I mean, everything's painted, of course. The yellow is nice and painted. The red, I can't tell if it's painted or not. It might be painted. The red on the head is definitely painted. You can tell it's like really glossy. The head sculpt, I think, looks really good too. He has like kind of like a grumpy look, which I think is perfect for Slag. But all around, pretty darn good. I will say his knees are very loose for some reason. They don't fall on their own, like if you wiggle them they do, but they just don't, they like to just kind of flop around. But there he is from the back. That came undone. From the side, I think he cleans up pretty well. I mean, he's of course one of the Dinobots, so he's got a big old backpack, so there's not really much that can be helped with that, but I think he looks pretty darn good. The insides of the legs are a little messy, but it's not too bad. It's definitely no Grimlock, but it's definitely not as clean as like what Sludge's is, but I think he looks pretty good. You can, of course, swap out his hands if you want to. You can pull them off and put the open palms in. You can take his gun and he can hold it just fine as well, though it is very tight for some reason. But you can do that. So let's go over articulation. His head, it is kind of limited by, of course, his big back kind of cowling back here, but it is on a ball joint. You can angle it back a little bit and forwards a little bit, and you can rotate it, but ever so slightly just because of the thing back here. His shoulders, he does have kind of like a butterfly joint, so you can bring his arms forwards, which is kind of cool. They can angle only about 90 degrees out, but you can rotate them all the way around. Rotate at the bicep, double jointed elbow for just under 180 degrees, and you can rotate his wrist. He does have a nice ab crunch, very far ab crunch actually. Can rotate at the waist, and he does have these hips. You can lift up the back skirt a little bit. His legs will go back about that far, forwards about that far, and they will go out all the way. They can also rotate at the thigh. And he does have a double jointed knee, but they kind of like act against each other a little bit. If you use the one joint, you can get that far. If you only use the other one, you can get maybe a little farther, but they are there. No toe tilts, but you do have an ankle tilt, which works well enough. So yeah, decent little bit of articulation all around, a pretty good bot mode. Can't complain. But let me clean them up a little bit and we'll do some size comparisons. All right, size comparison time. So of course, let's start off with Cliff Jumper. And here we have NEWAGE's Barricade. And of course, NEWAGE Constructicon. And let's show them next to Magic Square's Optimus and Magic Square's Megatron. So very nice, very appropriately sized Slag. And real quick, let's show him next to his competition. This is Magic Square's version of Slag. And I'm kind of on the fence about which one I like more. I think that Magic Square's version is definitely a lot cleaner. It looks a bit more proportional, I think, very wide in the chest, but I do really like the arms and the head on New Age's version. I also really like the backpack. I like that the way that they did that over the way that Magic Square did it, because it's nice that he has like that cowling, but it goes over his head too much. I like how they did it on New Age's version. Also, I like how the horns look on this as opposed to the one on Magic Square's. But yeah, I think that they stand out enough on their own that you can just kind of pick whichever one you like more. I think honestly, out of the two, I would probably pick New Age as far as like my bot mode. I do think that he looks pretty good, in my honest opinion. He's pretty accurate, but I do kind of like the way that this one looks. And of course, let's show him next to all the other ones. Here we have him with Swoop and Grimlock, and let's see if I can fit Sludge in here. So there is Sludge. So there are the 4 Dinobots that I have shown off so far. And of course they look fantastic together, as they are meant to. Alright, and that's going to do it for New Age H63 GORGO, or their Dinobot Slag. Of course, this is the 4th one in the series. I've liked pretty much all of them. They all kind of have their goods and bads. I think this one suffers from some tolerance stuff as well, because he's a larger size figure, but I really like the proportions on him. The paint is really nice. I think he cleans up pretty well. He has some kibble here and there that maybe the Magic Square one doesn't, but I think that he looks pretty good. I really like the little effect part that you got with him, but it would have been nice to come with another flame effect for the mouth, and of course maybe a sword. But all in all, I think he looks pretty darn good. I think he's a pretty decent figure. Nice little transformation and very expressive, nice looking dinosaur mode especially. But yeah, so recommend from me. But thank you so much for watching. If you watched this far, maybe consider leaving a like on the video, comment, subscribe to the channel if you want. If you want to support me, you can always check out, become a member for the channel, or you can check out my Patreon if you like to. That's more for my 3D printing and 3D modeling side, but it is probably the best way to support me if you're feeling generous. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.